welcome to this episode of the Book Fix podcast, a podcast where we save lives one book at a time. I'm your host, Chelly.
And I'm your host, Yahaira.
Dude, it feels crazy to me that after you and I just in a daze buying all of these series boxes.
We should talk about that.
Can you explain it?
Yeah, so this was like, oh my God, I think it was like way over a year ago. There was this one time that I was over at Chelly's and we were just like sitting around having fun, whatever. And I forgot who brought it up, but I think it was going around on Book Talk that Amazon was having like a really big like book sale. And so you and I think I started looking first, right? I was looking on Amazon and I was looking at all these books, and I really wanted books that I had no idea what they were about for the most part. Well, that, and also I really wanted the Shatter Me box set because I had read it and I was like, I need to have this box set. And so I just was like adding all of these things to my cart, and then I showed you, I was like, oh my God, look at all of the discounts that these books were getting, and you got really excited too. And I just think it's so funny. We both added the Cinder box set.
The Lunar Chronicles.
Yes, so the Lunar Chronicles box set, we both added that one. We both added the Shatter Me box set, and you added the Cruel Prince. And I was like, really, girl?
Okay, weird that you brought that one up. Well, did you also get the Percy Jackson one? Or was that just me?
No, I didn't. I didn't get it because my brother actually has the box set. So I was like, I'll just take his.
I remember that. Yeah, so in this like dreamlike state, we spent I wouldn't say a lot of money. I would say a reasonable amount for the amount of books we bought.
I don't think it was enough because there's so many that I want to read. I did also buy the Red Queen series and V.E. Schwab's Vicious series.
Dude,
right?
that was a really good day.
I know. And then you bought Percy Jackson.
All of them.
Right?
Not just the Olympians. I bought all of them.
Yeah, you did. I remember that.
So, that being said, after that, like, let's say, I think a week and a half passed, we received our books, and then we never touched them again.
Literally, they're still wrapped. Well, actually, I did have to unwrap the Shatter Me series because we saw Tahir Mafi on the 14th?
Yeah.
Was it Valentine's Day?
Yeah, it was the 13th, because we said Happy Valentine's Day at midnight.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay, so we saw her on the 13th, and so that was the time that I unwrapped my books, and I was like, damn, I didn't want to unwrap them. I just wanted to, like, frame them or something.
Imagine you opening it and being like,
No, seriously.
But that being said, I actually opened mine because I wanted to see the covers. I know that you and I both had a copy of Cinder, but like the original copy. But the box set that we have, the Lunar Chronicles, they're actually special copies with artwork like included inside. Dude, I fucking love when people have special editions of books, because even when we went to go see Tahir Mafi, all the people that had like the special editions of Woven Kingdom.
Oh my God, it was so pretty. It almost makes me want to start like those subscription boxes like for books. But then I'm like, what if I don't like the book? Or, you know, like, but I honestly, like, if I were to ever get those books, I would never write on them. Like, I can't. Like, that's just, because what if I want to pass it down to my children?
That's so funny.
My children's children.
I actually opened up the Lunar Chronicle, so I didn't use my other copy of Cinder. I used the special edition.
The pink
Dude,
one?
I wrote all over this book.
Yeah, no, I can't.
I had to. I don't know. It feels, I kind of broke the spine too. So does that bother you?
No, I mean, it's your book. Well, I wouldn't do it for me in my book.
It's your book and you're like clutching your desk.
It's your book. It's your trash. I'm just kidding.
I know.
I'm just kidding. No, but well, I also have that pink one, the special edition one. But like Chelly said, we both had the original one, like the one with the red slipper.
Yeah.
And it was just easier to access this one. So, I mean, I didn't write on it either though, because I know that we're gonna leave it in a little library. So
I'm gonna that's the one I'm gonna leave in a little library, the other Cinder book. I kind of did want to leave a few notes in it for the next person though.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
I do want to say I didn't love the first cover. The one with the shoe.
Red slipper? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't love it either.
Yeah. I think the second one kind of portrays it better.
Mm.
And
No,
I
yeah,
don't know.
would
I don't
agree.
know who does the art, but it looks really good.
I love the art for all of the books. They look so
Mhm.
pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Thank you.
I was at Barnes and Noble yesterday, and they have an even like special edition of the first book, Cinder. So it's just like, I don't know, it's like in its own little like box thing, and it's
Yeah.
like just bigger. It's just a bigger version of it.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, I gotta go to Barnes and Noble soon.
Like right now. So the way that we start off our episodes is by giving a spoiler-free-ish summary. And with this spoiler-free-ish summary, we would like if our readers decide whether or not they want to go off and read this book on their own and then come back to us. If not, if you don't care for spoilers, that's great because we're going to hella spoil after our summary.
Yeah.
Our main character's name is Cinder, and Cinder is a renowned mechanic, and she is also a cyborg who doesn't remember much of her past. In this Cinderella retelling, Cinder's life intertwines with Prince Kai's life when he asks her to fix his android, Nancy, because she's malfunctioned. At the same time, there is this outbreak of a plague known as letumosis, and Cinder witnesses a baker basically being taken into quarantine. So this book is just Cinder's life going through like this turmoil for being a cyborg and, you know, for her unknown past. And also dealing with, you know, what Prince Kai has to deal with as the leader.
Yes. Like Yahira said, that summary is so good, by the way, but it's so dense of a book that I do recommend you go read it first before you listen to our episode. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine.
And it is a Cinderella retelling. We haven't made it obvious.
Before we start our episodes, we like to guess how the other person felt about this book. I want to go first. I want to guess for you first. I do want to say that I know that this isn't your first Marissa Meyer book, and from what I remember, you really like her. So I think you're going to give this a 5.
You mean the book that you still haven't read?
Heartless. Yeah.
I'm not salty or anything. It's fine.
I'm so sorry.
No, please, it's fine. I'm going to guess you're going to give it a 5.
Okay.
So go ahead, Shelly. Go ahead, start us off.
Okay. Wait, because you brought this up last time, so I wanted to bring it up too. When we read Skin of the Sea, you mentioned the thing that it has before where it like thanks whoever, you know, when it's like thanks to the reader.
The dedication?
Yeah. The dedication on this one says, "For my grandma, Sammy Jones, with more love than could ever fit into these pages."
Aww,
I thought that was
so
sweet.
Cute. I love reading the dedication page because some of them are they just like warm my heart up. They're like so sweet.
So, I want to talk about the way that this book is kind of structured. I really like that it was broken down into like book 1, book 2, book 3, and it would have quotes from the original Cinderella story to like start off the book. I'm gonna send you a picture. I'm gonna be sending you a lot of pictures.
Okay.
I knew this was gonna be a robot story. So when it started with like book 1, while her sisters were given beautiful dresses and fine slippers, Cinderella had only a filthy smock and wooden shoes. And then I added, but she also had a robotic arm and lasers. And I drew her.
Oh, let me see.
So thank you. I just sent it to you.
Oh my god. Dude, this is so cute. Wait, you drew that?
Yeah.
Damn. That's so cute.
Do you like the fucked up shoe I drew on the side?
I do love it. It's so funny.
Oh my god. So
I wish we could show people this. This is so cute.
Going into this, I knew absolutely nothing. And like I said, I didn't read Heartless with you and Melissa, with our friend. So I don't know anything about Marissa Meyer, except that she was known for writing really good fan fiction. Do you remember that?
Was she? No, I
Yeah,
didn't know that. For
dude.
who? Or for what?
I can't remember, but I know that she wrote very good fan fiction that a lot of people like bond over actually bookbinding her fan fiction because it was that good that they needed to keep it for themselves. So like
What?
yeah, so she's written really good fan fiction. So the fact that she's an author now, people are super excited about it. So I've known that about her. And I do want to say, like, starting off this book, just like by chapter 1, I knew that I was gonna like her writing style.
Dude, she wrote Sailor Moon fan fiction.
Yes.
Oh my God. Where was I?
Was that
her
the
pen
only
name? Her pen name was Alicia Blade. That is so cute.
Did she write any other?
Let's see. She says, she said, when I was 14, my best friend introduced me to anime and fan fiction. Over the years, I would complete over 40 Sailor Moon fanfics under the pen name Alicia Blade. Let's see. Well, I'm assuming she would probably like just do reimaginings of fairy tales. So that in itself is also fan fiction.
Whoa, she never really left then.
she's still here with her roots. Yeah, no, that's all she wrote. Just the Sailor Moon. So maybe those were the ones that just popped off.
Yeah, apparently a lot of people bond over that. Just like how people bond over Holly Black writing Spiderwick Chronicles, because people forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, that being said, I thought her writing was really good. I think it's hard sometimes for people to write like a serious story and like trickle in comedy. So I like that she did that. I thought that the characters were really funny. Well, the ones who are supposed to be funny.
So I did really like the way that the story starts off. So Cinder is pretty much unaware of who she was or where she really comes from. But I mean, if you know the Cinderella story, it does play by the beats of Cinderella. So she does have like this evil stepmother. But I did like that even though she does have 2 stepsisters, one of them she is close to and the other one, she's a bitch. Like the stepsister is a bitch to her pretty much.
Yes.
Like she's just really mean to her. And so in the beginning of the story, Cinder is, you know, like I said in the summary, she is a well-known mechanic. So she is in her booth and she is, I think she's like fixing herself at this point. Like she's putting on a different like limb. Well, and that's when Prince Kai shows up and he's like, hey, I'm looking for Lynn Cinder. They're supposed to be this like really good mechanic and I really need them because 9C, which is his android, a malfunction. And he doesn't really say why he really needs 9C, but Cinder can tell that it's like the stakes are high, right? Like because he tries to play it off as like a joke, like, oh, I just really need her, you know? And then anytime that someone like lies, her sensor turns orange. Like she sees like an orange color. So she's like, okay, so he's keeping a secret, but she doesn't really think much of it. And so she's, I also really love how fucking awkward she is because when she sees him, like this like whole in like a paragraph comes out for him. It's like Prince Kai of blank, 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 born this day, born whatever. And, you know, like that's how she knows that it's the prince. And so she starts like being formal, obviously. So she's like, oh, Prince, your highness, whatever. And he's like, maybe don't announce it. Maybe don't announce it. I don't really want people to know that I'm here. As we're going through her story, we learn that she is trying to save up enough money to fix a car because there's not really that many cars around anymore. How do they get around again?
Wait, that wasn't her first thing though. Like her first thing was just saving enough money for a leg. Like the car thing doesn't come up until later.
Oh, okay.
Right? But she gets around by just walking, I think, because like you said, this does follow Cinderella a little bit. She lives with her stepmother, and just to go up to that point, Kai does leave Kai leaves his cyborg for her to fix, and she Yeah. So she takes the android. She's like, okay, I'll fix it. And at this point we meet Eco, which is also another android, an old android that belongs to Cinder. And it's funny because like with Cinderella and the shoe, it's like Eco coming like, I got you your foot. Here's your fucking foot, and like leave it on the table. Yeah, it's
Oh, but also just to point out, Cinder doesn't really tell people that she's an android. Like she doesn't she doesn't tell people that she's a cyborg. Like she doesn't like saying it because she knows that there's like prejudices with that. Like she knows that people will probably see her differently. And so when Prince Kai is with her, she's just like not letting him know that she's also a cyborg, because she's wearing like gloves, like she's wearing, you know, like long sleeves, and her legs are covered, or she's like she's like hiding.
And it's funny because
parts.
her old leg, she put it on the table, and she's kind of freaking out about it because he like picks it up and kind of messes with it, but he doesn't like make the connection that leg belongs to her.
Yeah.
But Eco comes in with the new leg, and she doesn't get up, but she's like, okay, well, I'll fix your android. Go ahead, Prince. See you next week, because he promises that he'll come back next weekend to pick it up. And if that doesn't work out, then she'll go over to the palace. So Eco and Cinder go home, and it is like a
Wait, before they go home, that's when she notices like that an outbreak is happening of the plague that I mentioned in the summary, because the people from a booth nearby who was a baker, she sees that they get taken away, and they're taken away to quarantine. And so this is her first like moment of witnessing how serious this is. But then that's when she goes home with Aiko. Yeah.
So when they get there, they live in like a really small, I think it's like not a studio apartment, but it's tiny. And when she walks in, her stepmother, what's her name? What was her name?
Wasn't it like Audrey?
Audrey. I was going to say Audrey.
I think it might be Audrey. I'm not sure.
I know her stepmother, Audrey, is with Peony and Pearl. And they're getting dress fitted because they're getting ready for the prince's coronation, right?
You know, there's always a ball in these types of stories. Yes, so they're getting fitted for it. And I kind of hate that Audrey is like she makes Cinder think that, oh, maybe you can go, but, you know, you can't really afford a dress for you. So figure that out first, you know?
But I also love that we didn't get led on with that. Like, I like that she knew that it was automatically a lie because of the orange sensor that goes off for Cinder.
Yeah, and I mean, she knows her stepmother pretty well now, so she's like, yeah, there's no fucking way I'm gonna go to that ball. But then after that, that's when Cinder and Peony and Aiko go to a junkyard, right? Like they're looking for something to fix a car.
Yeah.
Right? And
they're looking for something to fix. It's a mag bell, and they need it to fix something that's at their home.
But it's they're trying to fix like a.
Are you talking about the hover?
No, that's when they find the old gasoline car. Right?
Yes,
like when
that's
they're
what you're
at the
thinking
junkyard.
Of.
Yeah,
because they weren't planning on escaping at first. Like they were, but they had no definite plan. So when Cinder is kind of sent off on an errand, Cinder, Peony, and Eco go to the junkyard and happen to like find an old gasoline car, which those don't exist anymore. They're just in museums.
And, you know, I mean, she's a mechanic, so she's like, I can fix this. Like, and that's when, you know, the idea of escape, you know, just comes to her mind because her stepmother is a bitch. And
I
so
like that the
in
car
this
was orange and yellow.
Yeah, and then in this moment, that's when Peony's like skin like breaks out in hives, and that's when they realize like, oh my gosh, she's somehow caught on this. What was it called? Letumosis?
Yeah.
But when the med androids like show up, they're kind of, you know, checking her, and she does have it, so she gets taken into quarantine, and they check Cinder. And Cinder thinks like, oh my God, I'm going to have it then. But she comes out negative.
It sucks too because Cinder was so under the impression that it was her fault because of the plague that kind of happened in her booths where she works at. So she felt really bad. And then the fact that she didn't have it, she was relieved, but at the same time, she felt very dreadful because she knew that Peony was going to go by herself.
Yeah, because she wanted to go with her sister. And I think that she just felt a lot of guilt. Because she felt like she was somehow responsible. And then it doesn't help that she goes back home and then her fucking stepmother's like, oh, you had something to do with this. It's all your fault. And just for that, now I'm going to sell you off to the letumosis research where they take in a lot of different cyborgs. But most of the time, these cyborgs don't make it at the end of the research. So, and it sucks because she tries to tell her stepmother, like, well, that's actually voluntarily done. So if she's not volunteering herself, then she shouldn't be able to go. But her stepmother's like, well, actually, since you belong to me, you can go because that's her property.
I fucking hate the stepmother. I know you're supposed to, but oh my God, it felt like it was one thing after another with her.
Yeah, and she was just fucking mean. Like she was so mean to her like the entire time.
Yep. It was like every little thing too. She would make little comments like, oh, Cinder, if you don't do this, it would be a real shame if someone got rid of that little android that follows you around. Like talking about Eco.
Yeah, and then also the fact that, you know, Peony gets taken to quarantine. And so her mom and even like the other stepsister would be like, oh, you don't even care because you can't feel emotion. Like you can't even cry about it. I know. So you obviously don't care.
Oh my God, dude. When the stepmother was like, I already cried. So can you cry real quick?
Can you cry?
Just,
cry?
Oh, you can't?
Yeah. Expected.
Dude. It sucks too. I really like the way Marissa Meyer wrote when she would feel like overwhelmed with sadness because Cinder would like hyperventilate and she would talk about her eyes like needing to cry, but she knows that she can't.
Yeah. And, so it's like bottling up inside of her. I do appreciate like the way that Cinder would feel her emotions though, because she would recognize it, but because she's a cyborg, she can't let it out.
Yeah.
I almost expected her to fucking cry out oil.
I know. Oh my God.
Aceite just coming out of her eye ducts.
Someone catch that. It's expensive.
I know. I actually found that. So please, someone get that. But at the same time, while this is happening with Cinder, we find out through, you know, Prince Kai's life that his father, the Emperor Riken?
Yes.
He is sick with this plague. And, you know, we just assume like, oh, he's going to die soon. But the prince has like like the research facility. And that's why they're working so hard to find a cure. It's to save the emperor.
But it sucks too because over this broadcast that Prince Kai is having, he says like, it's okay. You know, we've been doing a lot of research and we are going to find the cure. And everyone claps, but it's kind of a very like not motivated at all because they know that they've been doing research for like 12 years and they have had no results.
But, so like, literally no one foresees him surviving this plague. Yeah,
but like Yahira said, Cinder is forcibly sent to a voluntary cyborg draft in order to test them if they can live through the plague. And when
can I just bring something up very quickly before that?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the emperor has an advisor. His name is Torin. And while, you know, they're dealing with the possibility of the emperor passing away, Torin is trying to tell the prince, like, hey, we need to figure out what we're going to do about the Luna, which is a colony in the moon. And Luna is ruled by Queen Levana. And the Lunars are pretty much known for being like... They had like a certain type of magic, right? Where they are able to like telepathically manipulate things, and
they can glamour people too.
Yes,
or glamour themselves.
they glamour themselves, especially Queen Levana. Like, she is hella glamored, and so they are just known to be like evil creatures. And so the prince is trying to figure out, how do we form like an alliance with them without me needing to, marry Queen Levana, because immediately he's like, I'm not going to marry this bitch. Okay. She's fucking crazy. I don't even know what she really looks like. So they're trying to figure that out. And we quickly learn that he is trying to find the princess of Luna, because there's an heir that should have been queen, but she like went missing. Well, the myth is that she died in a fire, but Prince Kai doesn't believe that. He's like, there's no fucking way she died in a fire. I know that she is lost somewhere, and I'm gonna find her.
Yeah, and it's because they never found the entire body. That was the thing, right?
And I like that Torin is trying to be realistic about it, because Prince Kai is so like hopeful. He's just like, you know what? We're going to find her, get Queen Levana out of here, and everything's going to be fine. But Torin is very much realistic about it. He's like, well, how do you know that Princess Celine isn't going to be even worse than Queen Levana? Like, how do you know that? And so Prince Kai is just really hanging on to his optimism that this is going to make everything okay. Like, everything's going to be fine if we just find her.
Yeah.
But go ahead. So what happens with Cinder?
So Cinder ends up going to the palace to this because they drag her. Like, she's trying to fight all of these med droids that came to pick her up for this draft. And it's funny because when we go to the perspective of the doctor, he hears about a girl cyborg who is supposed to come in. And it's like, yeah, she dismantled 2 Medroids with like a loose part that she had found. And she's just like, oh, okay. And when she comes in, she's completely like, no, this is supposed to be voluntary. I don't want to be here. And then it's like, oh, yeah, but you're a stepmom. And she's like, no, legal guardian. Please say it as it is.
She's like, that's not my mom.
It's like, because she still owns you, you have to do this. And they basically, the doctor puts a little bit of
Erland.
Thank you. Puts a little bit of the plague into her. And they're basically, they have all of the scans open, and they tear her apart, by the way. They like have her completely opened up, don't they? Just so they can see all of the wires. And she's just kind of there. And it kind of sucks because it kind of feels like a dissociative moment where it's like, oh my God, I'm a fucking cyborg. And they're like completely looking at everything. And there's even a part.
They're running tests like through her blood, and like they're even like scanning like her limbs. And so that's what's happening as well.
And there's a part where like the doctor says, oh, 36.92% of you is interesting. But to her, it's like, oh, that's how much of me is not human.
Yeah.
Like that's.
Yeah, so exactly.
But they put a little bit of the plague into her system, and they basically tell her, we're going to let it ride out. And then on the second day, or however long it was supposed to take, we will give you the antibodies and hope that it works. And if it doesn't, she'll die. But that's why a lot of these cyborgs die, is because obviously they're not resistant to it. So they do that, and they're basically looking at her bloodstream, and you can see the plague going through her bloodstream, and it's like 12 little dots on the screen. But like little by little, these dots start disappearing, even though they didn't give her the antibodies, until all of it is out of her bloodstream, and it's as if she was never infected with it.
Yeah, exactly. So she's immune to it, and he's like super excited about it. He's like, oh my God,
I did it
to the plague. He's like, I did it, guys. Hang up my cape. I'm done. I can retire now.
Oh my gosh. But this gives, because remember, Peony also has the plague. So kind
of gives her an incentive to come back. Because she wants there to be a cure.
So Cinder asks for 2 things. She asks to be paid, but not through the account of the stepmother, but her own personal account. And the doctor is like, yep, done. I will do that. But the second thing was that the first person to get the antidote has to be her sister.
And he's like, I can't do that. It has to be the emperor first. But she could be second.
No, but that's, it's it's sweet because he's actually like
like he can't.
attempting.
Yeah.
And he seemed at this point to be the only person, not counting Kai, because I feel like even though he is in this story a lot, I like that Cinder had her own thing going on. So this was really the only person so far in my eyes that like cared for Cinder in a way.
Yeah.
Like someone that she can actually talk to.
He was definitely meeting her stipulation, so he did seem like genuinely interested in her. But I mean, obviously, like at this moment, it's not really like for sure if it's because of her or because just for the research alone.
Yep. So she basically swears that she's going to come back every day.
And this also gives her more motivation to fix that gasoline car because she knows that if her sister gets saved from the plague, then they can just immediately leave.
So the few things that she's doing, and it's funny because she's like, okay, I gotta fix the car, leave, and give the cure for the plague. Doesn't seem that hard.
No,
and then
not at all.
She walks out and she sees Kai. And Kai's like, what are you doing here? Like,
yeah. He's like, what? Are you following me? It was actually kind of cute, though, because he's like, are you stalking me, maybe?
Oh, and at this, I forgot to mention, at this point, the doctor and his assistant had noticed that Cinder had a chip in the back of her head and was like, oh my gosh, I wonder what happens if I touch it. And he touches it and it gives her like immense pain. And that's exactly when Kai walks in. So she's like on the floor screaming. And he's like, oh my God, what's happening? Are you okay? And it was like, oh, her back pains. This little chiropractor stuff.
I know.
And it's like, okay.
I didn't tell you that I'm also a chiropractor. Wow. Surprise.
It's like a side thing.
Yeah. Extra money,
But they basically lie to him because the doctor doesn't want to reveal anything if it's not a for sure antidote.
Yeah, no, he doesn't want to tell Kai anything at all, which I thought was like good, because I feel like if he would have mentioned it to Kai, he probably would have felt forced to just keep her there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that it played out the way it did.
Unfortunately, so Cinder goes home. And unfortunately, like, I think it's the day after that's when the Emperor passes away.
Oh, yeah. And my God.
I like and then I don't like the way that it happened because it happened when Kai wasn't there. Like, he wasn't there, like to be with his dad. So he just was told like, hey, yeah, he's dead now. So
I feel like a lot of things that happen in this story though happen just like you just missed it type of thing.
Yeah.
Like they always made it at the very, very end of a big situation, which fucking sucks.
But yeah, no, that happened a couple of times.
Yeah, it's so sad too because he's dealing with the loss of his dad who he really looked up to. And anytime Cinder sees him, it's because there's so much on her mind. It like never occurs to her like, wow, he's also dealing with a lot of stuff. And I'm over here like, I'll fix your android.
But the thing is that she will fix the android, but that's not her priority, No. And so when the Emperor passes away, that's when Queen Livana, she somehow found out like 2 seconds after. So she messages him, like video chats with him, and she's like, oh, my condolences, I guess. But she's like very much like an icy person. Yeah. And she's like, okay, well, just so you know, I'll be there ASAP as soon as I possibly can. I'm already on my way. And Prince Kai is like he didn't even get a chance to grieve yet. He's like, oh my God, she's already coming. And that's how he's like, okay, well, we have to break the news to the public. She's coming because somehow they're gonna have to form an alliance and he's gonna have to talk to her about that. And I think after that whole thing, doesn't Cinder go to her sister? Like that's when she goes to like the quarantine area.
Yeah, so while all of that is going on, Cinder does sneak into the quarantine area where people are not allowed to go, and unless you're sick. Yeah, and she sees Peony there and basically tells her that she's gonna try her best to find a cure, but Peony is not looking too good. She's like talking and stuff, but she's She's sick, dude.
She's not processing anything at all, which is really sad. And it's really heartbreaking because obviously you can tell that Cinder really loves her sister. And she's trying to really, make her understand like, oh, don't worry, Peony. We're going to figure this out. You're going to survive this. But.
And it sucks too because at this point, I think one of the people that used to work near her mechanics booth is also in this quarantine area, and she passes away. But what Cinder notices is that when they pass away, the med droids come and take their identification chip that's in their wrist. And that's kind of like fucked up because it's like, that's a part of them. What gives you the right to like just take that? But she notices it, and there's really not much she can do. And it's revealed later.
She also notices that they like have a whole fucking bowl full of chips. It's not just hers. It's just like they have all of these chips that they're holding on to. And it was really sad. Like that whole moment was really sad because before she died, she kept asking her like to go grab like her son or her grandson. I can't remember who it was, but it was like, yeah, it was her son, right? Because she wanted to see her son, but obviously like her son wouldn't be able to be there. Yeah. And yeah, they just take her chip after she passes.
Dude, I don't remember when it starts happening, but I do want to say that I love the way the romance played out in this book.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cute.
I think so too. I really liked that Prince Kai seemed smitten by her because she was funny. Like she was awkward and funny, and she was so unfazed by, his status. And I think that's why he really liked her because, she was one of the few that wasn't just throwing herself at him. And I also love that when Queen Livana is like on her way, or there, or maybe it was like when she was already there. I can't remember exactly. He like immediately starts talking to her, and he's like, "Anyway, do you want to go to the ball with me?" Like,
I know.
I don't want to like enforce it, because I am the prince or whatever. But like,
but it's so sad because
go with me. That would be really cool.
It's so sad because the way that he words it the first time is like, "Oh, as a preemptive thing, I would like to ask you to go to the ball with me." And then she says no, and he automatically leaves, and she feels bad. But then the doctor kind of brings up, it's like, oh, he probably wanted that because he doesn't want Queen, what's her name?
Livana to be his date. And then she's so like,
yeah, just a basic bitch to him? Is that what he thinks?
No, I think she did feel bad though for him.
Because I remember she had also mentioned like, oh, he asked me because I was easy to ask. So it wasn't, she tried denying that it was anything else that was like
could
remotely
significant.
Yeah. So she was like, no, he just did that because I was easy to ask.
Yeah, and I mean, in this moment, she's back in the lab, so that's why the doctor's also there when he asked. And it's kind of awkward because the doctor was there when he first asked her if he wanted to go to the ball with her, or if she wanted to go to the ball with him.
The doctor sees it. Like, the doctor even says, like, oh, yeah, whatever is happening there. I don't know why he's so intrigued with you. So, like, he sees it, too. But I fucking love the way it, like, kind of plays throughout the story. Because while everything is going on, they'll every once in a while crash into each other. And for some reason, he's so open with her. With, like, everything that's going on. So he's like, oh, let me tell you my political turmoil.
Oh,
it's like, oh my God.
But he doesn't really like tell her, like, no. Especially that whole thing with 9C, like why he is so desperate to get his android back. And he does like mention it to her, like, hey, I know you're super busy. But can you just like squeeze that up on your list, please? And so she can tell that he is very desperate to get his android back. So she does. She tries to focus on that. And while she is at the lab, her samples are still not done, right? But the doctor kind of realizes something about her, and he's not being super forthcoming with her, and she can tell that he's keeping something from her. And she can especially tell when they realize that Queen Livana is on her way, like she's coming. And the doctor is like immediately like, no, you cannot be around the queen at all. Like you cannot let her see you. And she doesn't understand why. She's just like, well, I mean, I have to come here and she's going to be in the palace. So I can't really, evade her all the time. And that's when he reveals to her that she is actually from Luna. Like, she is also lunar. And she doesn't understand, but he explains to her that's why you're immune to the disease. And if she sees you, she'll be able to see that you are one of her people. Like she can see that. And I forgot exactly how it's revealed, but he also explains to her that she is a shell, and that is someone who is resistant to the lunar gift. So that means that she would be able to see Queen Levana as she is. So her whole like glamour wouldn't work on her. And anyone who is a shell, Queen Levana kills them immediately because that's, you know, like she can't
doesn't
have
like
someone...
not being in control. Yeah,
exactly. And so he is trying to tell her like you need to make sure that you don't let her see you. But I don't think she really understands the gravity of everything. Yeah, that's what I was
gonna say, because like after that talk, she basically goes back home, fixes up the android for Kai, and then the next day goes to go take the android over.
But the reason why she does it is because 9C, as soon as she wakes up, she continues speaking as if like that's where she had left off. And she realizes that what she is talking about is Princess Celine. And so she knows that Prince Kai has been in search for the princess this whole time. And the android is just relaying messages of like the last time she was seen, right? And so... Cinder is like, oh damn, this is really important. I have to get this android back to the prince. And so like you said, she grabs her, takes her to, you know, the castle borders, and the guards there are like, you can't come through here, especially because Queen Levana is here. And so the android 9C shows her ID badge, and she's like, well, I can go through because I'm the princess. And so she is able to go through, but Cinder is just left there. And that's when she sees Queen Levana.
And they make eye contact, and Queen Levana makes like a face of disgust towards her. And Cinder's like, that doesn't seem good. Yeah. But, you know, can't really do much about that. I remember Kai comes down to talk to her. And I think at this point, they were in the...
Wait. Okay, I don't know how much detail you want us to be about this, but I just want to bring this up because I feel like it's so telling of both Kai's character and Queen Levana's character. So they're having dinner, and there is a servant who brings out a platter, and in the platter there's a mirror. And before Queen Levana showed up, she told everyone, you have to get rid of all of the mirrors. Like that was like, you have to do it. If you don't do it, then that's like treason, right? Like that's like you're trying to say something to her, because so her glamour doesn't work through mirrors. And so people would be able to see what she really looks like with this mirror. And so Queen Levana is so offended. She's just like, how fucking dare you put this mirror in this platter for the whole world to see how she really looks like? And so she immediately wants to kill this servant. But Prince Kai is like, oh my God, no, I can't let her do that. And he pretty much like reveals to everyone like, no, it was me. I did that. I put the mirror there. I was just trying to play a joke. Come on. It was funny. Right? Like laugh a little. And so I don't think that Queen Levana tells him, but it's very obvious that she was the one who did that, you know, because she wanted to see what kind of person Prince Kai was. And so she kind of just tells him, well, I'm glad to see like the type of person that you are. And I just really like that in this moment, they both kind of revealed like core values of each other to each other. You know, like she's just a fucking bitch. And he's like willing to save a servant. Like, you know, like he, even if it meant making himself look bad.
Yep. Oh, yeah, dude. I forgot about that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
No, I love that moment. Because she's fucking crazy.
I know that they... Cinder and Kai meet up again in an elevator. Like they're talking to each other and they're walking over to the doctors. I think it's at this point. But they have a conversation about, remind me if I'm wrong, about how much you're willing to do if there's a cure. And he was like, would you be willing to sacrifice anything if that meant that you could have a cure to this plague? And I don't remember how she responds.
And I mean, he's asking her more of a rhetoric way though, because he's also projecting like what he's going through, because he knows that, because fucking Queen Lavanna gives him like a little cure. She's like, it's for one male, because, we've also been researching this plague and we have, the antidote for it. And he knows that what she wants is for there to be a marriage between them. And that's the only way for him to, really be able to save everyone from this plague. And when he asks Cinder that, it's because he knows that he might just have to marry her to save everyone.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
No,
but
he
she
really
basically
doesn't want
says, because I think she's thinking of it more in the sense of her, because what she's doing, she's sacrificing a lot for what, to get like the antidote. Because I don't think she knows about that, the one vaccine that they give her just yet. So she does say like, oh yeah, I would sacrifice anything. So that kind of pushes more towards like, oh, he has to marry Queen Lavanna.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the second time that he asks her to the ball too.
Yeah, he's like, are you sure? Think about it.
Dude,
think about it. Think about it again.
He does it when the elevator's open too. And he doesn't ask her. He's just like, I want to go to the ball with you.
Yeah, and everyone's just looking around like, okay.
And
like all the like researchers.
I know, dude. Everyone stops and looks at them, and she pushes him back into the elevator and is like, close the fucking door. And they do. And she's like, she keeps saying no, but like she can't tell him like, I'm a cyborg. You're not going to want to be with a cyborg.
Lunar, because he fucking hates lunars, especially because of Queen Lavanna. And so he he makes it obvious his distaste for, her kind. And she's like, yeah, totally. Lunars are the worst. Am I right? They're the worst.
But in order to like have an excuse, she says like, my sister has the plague, and it would be wrong of me to go while she has the plague.
Like go party.
But then I forget how she says it, but then he's like, so you do want to go to the dance with me, but you can't, is what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
And she says, if she gets better, when she gets better, would you be able to dance with her? Because she's like in love with you.
Yeah, she has a massive crush on him. But then again, who doesn't? He's the prince.
Yeah.
He's really cute, apparently. And so he's like, yeah, I'll do it.
They almost kiss in this scene too.
Yeah.
And her thing reacts, but I don't remember why it reacts. The chip in the back of her head.
Oh, so she starts feeling pain, right? I don't remember either.
I think it's just over emotional, or it was just timed at a weird time. But she basically like falls down in pain, and she can hear him, and he's like, what did I do? Are you okay? How can I help? But then she automatically like gets up, and stops hurting, and she's like, no, I'm good. Back pain.
She starts gaslighting him like, oh, I just need a chiro. I need another chiro session, actually.
What are you talking about? I didn't fall. I
wasn't moaning in pain. That's weird.
That was you, actually. That was weird that you brought that up. You always do that to me. You always do. Like completely gaslighting him.
Yeah.
But because of that, he's like, okay, let me walk you over to the doctor. And that's where he gives the antidote to the doctor and tells him about it, right? It's something like that. It plays along those lines.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I do know before that happens, she does end up going home first. No, she doesn't.
But before that, she also finds out that the doctor, Dr. Erlin, is actually also a lunar. And she starts like accusing him like, oh, well, you're just lying to me then. Like you must have other motivations, because that's just the reputation that lunars have. So she can't help it, even though she's also a lunar. And he's like, no, I didn't lie to you. That's just how I know that you have this, is because I'm also that.
It's sad too, because she was like, oh, well, you're immune. So why didn't you just use your blood? And he's like, where do you think I got these 27 antibodies from? Like, I've been doing this. But he was specifically asking for cyborg drafts because he knew he was like searching for can I say that already? Yeah.
been searching. Well, that's not revealed till the end, but yeah, I mean, we could just say he's been searching for Princess Celine this whole time, and that's why he's been doing this.
Mm-hmm. But he gives her the antidote because remember, Emperor's dead, so like can't really give him the antidote. Yeah, so because it's for Peony, he gives her like a little bit of it, like I think it's a quarter worth of it, and is like, okay, go take that to her and give her the antidote and let's just see if it works. She's gonna die anyway, so it might as well try it. And so she leaves, goes to the quarantine place, and she's already in the last stages of the plague. Yeah. And when she gets there,
she is not there anymore.
No, Peony's like just
mentally, no,
she's like there. She's like calling for her mom. She has no idea that Cinder's even there. And Cinder tries to get her to sit up, but then she just kind of, you know, her eyes stop moving, mouth is open, and she's just died. And it sucks because it was just by like a few minutes.
Yeah, and it's really sad because when this was happening, she kept getting phone calls from her stepmother because when these sick people are dying or when they get to a new stage, they get like a notification. And so Audrey knew that Peony was dying, and that's why she kept like calling Cinder, but Cinder just kept like sending it to like voicemail or whatever. So when Cinder goes back home, Audrey is pissed. Like she is so angry with her.
Remember, Cinder doesn't go straight home. She actually sees the baker's son, who is also sick, and she just goes up to him and she's being kind of chased out, and she gives him the antidote and is like, here, drink this. And then she is taken by a bunch of med droids because
but she was hella fighting them off, though.
She was, but she ends up getting caught.
She took her sister's chip. She didn't want the med androids to take it, so she took it.
Yeah, she took it out of her wrist, took it with her, but also Audrey basically called Cinder as missing, and they were looking for her. So they were bringing her back, too. So there's like this video of her circulating of giving this kid just like something to drink, and all of a sudden this kid is miraculously better. So that antidote that the queen had given Prince Kai actually works, but they can't replicate it. So it sucks because it was like, yeah, we were able to save one kid, but there's not much we can do with it. So then Cinder goes back home and she's with Audrey and Pearl, and they basically tell her off. And I think we're skipping a little bit, but I do know that they basically tell her, like, you know what? You're fucking useless. You can't go to the ball. I was about to let you go, but you know what? No, I changed my mind.
Yeah, and then also Audrey notices that she spent a lot of money on a new like prosthetic leg or a foot, I think. And she's like, you know what? I don't know where you got that money from. You obviously stole it from me, so give me that foot.
Yeah, so she makes her take off her foot. And then she also says, by the way, I sold a lot of your stuff. So it is what it is. And she goes in, or Cinder goes into her room and notices that there's a lot of spare parts. And it's because Audrey ripped Eco apart and melted her chip that made her. Dude, that made me so sad. I loved Eco.
I know. She was such a great character. She was so bubbly and always so like chipper and happy.
And very like naive to the world. Because even at the beginning when Audrey was like, yeah, Cinder, I'll let you go to the dance if you can get a dress.
She was so like, oh my God, did you hear that?
And it's like, of course she's not going to let me go, even if I get a dress. And she's like, but she said so. Why wouldn't she let you go?
She's not a liar.
And there was even like a little gift that Eco had given Cinder, which it looks like a ring, but it's just like a gold band. Like I think it's like a gold bolt. And it's just like a present that Cinder got from Eco. And I thought that was really sweet. Like,
I know. I fucking loved her. So this moment was really, really heartbreaking.
And then remember, Cinder can't cry. So she just feels all these emotions, but she can't show them. So then the next day she has to go to work because she basically has to make up all this money that she spent. And she goes without her foot and is like completely sad about it. But she refuses to make money, right? Like she's not taking anyone in.
Yeah, which honestly doesn't really make sense, but yeah, she's just here at work.
Well, I
Because
think she was
she
refusing,
does something. No, I think she does something for a little girl. No, like she just
but
fixes
it's
something
free.
for her, and it's
But it
free.
wasn't
And then the
even
prince,
broken.
I know, and then the prince shows up, and he's like, "Is that how you make your money?" That was funny.
And it was sweet too, because when he comes in, he was like, "Oh, I actually have something for you to fix. Here's my comms machine," and it's like basically how they message each other. And he's like, "It's weird because I texted this certain mechanic like 6 times and she didn't answer. So I think something's wrong with my thing." I know.
I know.
And then she was like, "Oh, well, doesn't it occur to you that she might be busy?" And he's like, hella busy. Look at all this.
Yeah,
totally
working for free, right? Yeah, totally busy. Yeah. I thought this moment was super cute because then he also hands her a present and he's like, "Here."
I really like how Kai approached her at this part because, they were talking about the whole communication thing. But I like that afterwards, he just goes like, "You know what? Last try. Go to the ball with me. Go to the ball with me." Like, what? Why wouldn't you? Honestly. And it's like a very like back and forth type thing. And remember, she's feeling like very vulnerable and defeated at this point. Her sister has passed. She knows that she's going to escape and she's planning to escape the day of the ball. And there's like just so much piling up. And she's like flattered, but at the same time, it's like, this is never gonna fucking work. I'm a cyborg. I'm a lunar. No. And she tells him no. And he gets really sad about it. And she's basically like, "I'm never going to that ball." And so he's like, "Okay, I won't ask you about it, but will you at least watch my coronation?" She's like, of course I'm going to watch it." And it's funny because he like brings it up again. He's like, "I'm not going to talk about the B word, but I did bring you this." And it's like a very nice box. And you can tell what it is. It's like an outfit to the ball, just in case she changes her mind. And she keeps trying to like...
That's not an outfit. It's just gloves.
Oh, I thought it was an outfit. Oh my God.
No.
I'm wrong. It was just silk gloves, right?
It's just white, long silk gloves.
Oh, is that because she never takes off her gloves?
Yeah, that's why he got it for her. Because I think in this moment he even girl, relax. I think in this moment he even brings it up. He's like, "You never take off your gloves, huh?" So I think he was trying to...
He brought it up a while back. He was in the elevator.
No, it was in this moment because I think that's why he was he was trying to give her a reasoning as to why he got her these gloves.
It was sweet. Oh my God. But Pearl, her older sister, comes in and notices that the prince is there, and she's being hella rude to Cinder and is like, "Hey, take this,"
Yeah.
And Kai is like, "What? No, please
Also,
and thank you."
Sister.
Oh, sorry.
Sister.
But she's like, "No, please." He says, "No, please and thank you." And she turns around ready to like argue, but notices that it's the prince and is completely like thrown off and like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Prince," and whatever. And the prince ends up leaving, and Pearl sees that Cinder was gifted these gloves, and she's like, "Oh my God, did you trick him into thinking you were like a person? You really think that he would go for you? Oh my God." And I fucking love Cinder because she's not taking any of this shit. And because like, Pearl is like, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to go to the ball and I'm going to dance with him." And she's like, "Ooh, if he lets you." I actually only asked him to save a dance for Peony. Sorry. He's not going to dance with you. But, yeah, Pearl is being super like, "Oh, I'm going to tell him everything. I'm going to tell him that you're a monster and of all of your eccentricities." I think that's what they call it. But she's pointing all of this stuff out. And
well, Cinder's still planning on leaving. She's like, "I'm going to get the fuck out of here." And then I'm pretty sure like Nincy, either she like took something from her, left something. I'm not 100% sure, but then she gets like an incoming call from someone. And this someone is a lunar, and she starts telling her like, "Oh, Queen Livana's, you know what? She's so evil. She's just going to manipulate the prince, and she's actually going to kill the prince." And it's because Queen Livana actually had chipped 9C. And that's why she had malfunctioned. Or someone that Queen Levana knew had chipped her. And so basically what this is telling Cinder is that Queen Levana knew this entire time that the prince was in search of the Princess Celine. And if he's doing that, then that means that it's like a treason thing, right? It's like, oh, then he's going to somehow find someone to surpass me. And if that's the case, then Queen Levana is just going to end up killing him anyway.
Yeah.
And so Cinder is listening to this to this person, and she's just like, oh my god, I have to go and save him. But obviously she can't just show up at the ball the way that she is. So she finds like a foot of when she was younger. She puts that on, and then she also finds a dress that belonged to Peony, and I think that was the dress that she wanted to wear to the ball. Or I think she was actually wearing it the day that she got sick.
Yes.
Right? And so she puts it on, and then the fucking car, the gasoline car, does end up working. And so she ends up going to the ball in that car.
Yeah. So when she gets to the ball, her plan is only to tell Prince Kai everything that's happening. But when she gets there, they're actually doing ID checks to see like the people who came have to be the ones who like basically like RSVP'd, and she's nervous because she didn't, but when she does it, the guy who was checking her was like, oh my gosh, you're the Princess +1, like the special guest, let's go ahead and make a huge ass announcement that you're here. And they basically like, oh, here is Cinderlyn of this part of town and whatever, and everyone looks at her.
Embarrassing because she is soaked. Like she looks like a mess. And even the guard looked at her and he was like, oh, you're the +1. Oh, okay. And like she's wearing boots, you know, with her pink dress. So she just looks like a mess. And before she walked in, she actually saw the prince, and the prince was talking to her stepsister, Pearl. And so she just imagined all of the ways that her stepsister was slandering her in this moment. And then that's when, you know, she gets announced. She's walking in and she tries to hold her head up high, you know, to, you know, feign confidence. But like everyone's just looking at her like, oh my God, she's a +1.
But he's so like happy to see her.
Yeah.
And like walks up to her.
He almost like finds it humorous that she would show up like this.
I know, dude. Because she's also, the gloves that he had gotten her, they're like stained with grease. And, you know, he doesn't even care. And they start dancing. And it's so awkward because no one else is dancing. So I just imagine like both of them fucking going at it. And he's just like, it's a party, guys. Like, we're all supposed to be dancing here. And then he leans over to her and is like, you don't know how to dance, do you? And she's like, I'm a fucking mechanic. Why would I know how to dance?
And he's like, damn, I love that you've taken care of the gloves that I just gave you the day before. I love all the grease stains on them.
Yeah. Oh my God. Dude, it's so sweet because they're talking to each other and she's so like ready for him to judge her. And he does immediately, because she brings up like, oh, can you imagine that my stepsister Pearl and my stepmom Audrey like think I'm the embarrassment? And then it gets quiet and he says, well, why didn't you tell me?
Oh, yeah, because Audrey tries to stop her from going to him. That was before they started dancing. So she starts like yelling at her and trying to get her to leave. But the prince was like, she's my guest. And then that's when he pulls her in. I thought that was so cute though, because he like pulls her and it's like straight into dancing.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's like, damn, why didn't you tell me? You know, I would have been okay with it.
But he was talking about the death of Peony. Like, because he had just heard the news, right? And
oh yeah, you're right.
That's what I'm talking about. So it was after the dance.
About that. Uh-huh.
It was after the dance, and she was so like when he had said that, she was so certain that he was talking about her being a cyborg, and she was like, "I was gonna tell you, I didn't know how to bring it up." And it's like, yeah, I mean, people get sick, and he like starts talking about Peony, and she's like, "Oh my God, he doesn't know." And so then she
Mhm.
like grabs him and is like, can we go somewhere in private? I need to tell you something.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, let's go to the gardens. But they don't, because Torin, which is like the right hand man of Kai, is like, love that you had your little moment. Love that. But you need to be serious
Yeah,
with
like
what's going on.
you're really gonna have a love story right now when we gotta figure out what
Uh-huh.
the fuck to do with Queen Levana.
And so then around this point, Cinder tells him everything, like all of what she's planning to do. And he's like, okay, well, I know what I must do. And he says that like in front of Torin, and Cinder's like, okay, he understood the message. But then it's kind of like insinuated that the only thing he could do is marry Queen Levana. So what she does in desperation of like to get
Oh my
him
God.
to not marry her is
Uh-huh.
kiss him. And it's
Yeah.
written in a very sweet way too, because she mentions that like even though she was doing this to stop him, it was also like because she wanted to. And when she pulls away, she was like, what if you tell her that you're in love with someone else? What if we do that? And he's
Hear
so
me out.
in shock.
And like he's
this,
malfunctioning now. He's like, what the fuck just happened?
dude, can I tell you though, this part kind of took me out of the entire story, because I read this in like a day. It was so weird to me that Queen Levana was just like, huh, you thought that would work against me? Monogamy doesn't exist on the moon, bitch. It's like, oh my God.
I fucking
funny.
it's so funny because the whole time I could not stand her, but I was like, okay, queen. Okay.
Oh wow, pop off. Wait,
Oh my
Levana
God, wait.
doesn't seem that bad.
I just thought that was so funny of her to say that, because she was like, honestly, like, we're not monogamous, so I don't care.
Yeah, you can have as many fucking girlfriends as you want. But like that threw me off completely. But
No, I
then
get it.
I think Levana looks at her, right? And then that's when she realizes like, oh, she's not what she says she is. And basically in front of everyone reveals that she is lunar. And it's dude, I feel like fucking everything was revealed in the span of 15 minutes. Poor Kai, like over here getting all this information.
Brain was probably like expanding way too much. He was like, wait, hold on. She's a lunar, but she's also a cyborg. Wait, what?
Oh, dude, it sucks because the lunar thing was revealed first, and he was like, no, she would have told me. And he looks at her, and she's just kind of like not denying it, and it gets to him. But I feel like he's very good at like keeping his composure, because he basically looks at the queen and is like, you know what? I apologize. It is treasonous that we have her here. We will take her to my dungeons, and we will keep her there until we can figure out what to do with her.
Like
And
how to punish her for that. Because the lunars aren't supposed to be there. Like that's against the law.
Yeah.
And so Queen Levana could have taken her, or should have been able to take her, but because she's technically also, because she's also a cyborg and a citizen there, he's like, I'll deal with her.
But she doesn't want that. She's like, no, we're gonna execute her on the fucking moon. Like that's what we're gonna do. And it's funny because Queen Levana's like having. I
thought you were gonna say we're gonna execute her lunar style.
I hate that. Moon rocks activate. It's like they all just start coming down. No, dude, I like. It's funny because like she's Queen Levana's going through it. She's fucking angry, and then here's Kai like trying to like mitigate the situation, and then out of nowhere the glamour stops working on Cinder, and she's like, you know what, Kai, I don't want to say this, but this bitch fucking ugly. Like, I'm so sorry. What the fuck?
It's like, damn, bitch, you look like that.
I know. I'm sorry. I know this is, a lot of political situations going on, but bitch, you fucking ugly.
Anyway, okay, we need to get to the end already. The only thing I want to bring up is, shit hits the fan, and Queen Levana's trying to kill her, and Kai kind of has a moment where he looks at her at Cinder. And he's like, so this whole time you've been lying to me? Because as I already said, lunars are able to manipulate things. And so he thinks that everything that he went through with her was just a lie.
And same for like her cyborg parts, because as soon as it's revealed that she has cyborg parts, he kind of looks at her in disgust, or at least that's how she interprets it, and it probably was like that. And that's when he mentions like, oh, did you just glamour that away? Like, is that what you were doing? And that's kind of like the last point in which they even look at each other, because like you said, shit hits the fan, and she is basically taken as prisoner. And as she is prisoner, she's kind of already accepted it. Like there's no way she's going to get out of this one. And she's okay with it, because she's like, at least there's not going to be a war happening. Like, it could just end here. But then the doctor, remember, he's lunar also. He's like, you know what? Sucks that it worked like this. Why don't we escape? Let's go to Africa. Let's go find more lunars, and let's find an antidote. And they both agree, and she escapes. Right?
Yeah, and he also reveals to her that she is the princess, which is Queen Lavana's niece. Yeah. So he's like, hey, also you're the princess that Kyrie's been looking for the entire time. Oh my god, cute.
Cute, but let's not think about it too much, because he fucking hates you now.
Yeah, he fucking hates you. And so at the end, she kind of just realizes that she's going to have to retake this throne from Queen Lavana.
And she takes the ID chip out of her wrist, and is just like, they're going to be looking for a deformed cyborg with a missing foot, a lunar with a stolen identity, a mechanic with no one to run to, nowhere to go, but they'll be looking for a ghost. So she's like not letting them track her at all. Yeah. And I do like one of the last conversations too that she has with the doctor before they both leave, is the fact that, like, I know it feels like Kai is not on your side, and he probably is not on your side right now, but he like supports you as much as everyone else will. Like basically, like, it's gonna take him a little while to come around. But yeah, that's how it ends. Apparently the copies that we have, I didn't read it because when I finished the book, I swear to you, I just fucking passed out. Apparently there's like
pretty late.
I did finish late. Apparently there's this like an extra chapter of bonus material. Oh, you know what? Really? It's just questions.
Okay. Okay. Wow, I feel like that took forever.
I feel like these last 2 episodes that we have filmed have taken a very long time. We still have to kind of talk about it.
Yeah, I know. Damn. Oh my god. Okay, let's just get to it, I guess.
Can we? Because I feel like I know how you feel about it, and I know you know how I feel about it. So can we just talk about overall thoughts? Well, I don't know.
Well, do you have any dislikes?
I did have a dislike.
Okay, go.
Wait, oh my god, wait. You go first.
Okay, so it's not like a major dislike. I do really like Marissa Meyer's writing. I do really like, I've only read so far 2 stories of her. I am very excited to get through more of them. I think that generally, I do like fairy tale retellings.
Yeah.
Although I will say that I feel like I try to be very critical of them, because I hate when it's just like when things happen because that's how the original happened, and it kind of just feels forced. So with this one, I did really like how creative it was, like how different it was from, the original Cinderella story. And I love the aspect of her being a cyborg and being lunar. And, things happened that were similar to the original story, but it didn't really feel like off-putting, or it didn't really feel like, oh, well, of course this happened because that's how the original happened, And I like that it feels like its own story. If it had a different name, if she was if her name wasn't Cinder and she didn't have like an evil stepmother, and maybe like one other detail.
And it wasn't an orange vehicle.
Oh, yes. Then maybe it could have just been like its own story.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to admit this. I don't really love Cinderella retellings. I feel like because when we were younger, there were so many of them. There was like an abundance of Cinderella retellings.
And let's be honest,
the Selena Gomez one.
No, yes, but also the Hilary Duff one.
Oh, yes. That one was so good.
That was the best one. Okay, I was about to say the fact that you didn't bring that one up first. I love that one.
Selena Gomez.
Yeah, that one's really good.
But I will say that I was genuinely surprised by my experience reading this one. I felt like I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the romance, even though it was like fucking crumbs. I still loved it. I guess I don't really have like a major dislike besides, I don't know. I can't really think of anything that I disliked with the story besides not really favoring Cinderella retellings, but that's pretty minor, I guess.
Okay. What do you rate it?
Oh, we're on overall thoughts? I thought we were talking about dislikes.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're okay, I'm okay with just talking about it like that then. I did have 2 dislikes. Two. One of them's minor, one of them's major. The minor dislike is when I first started this book, I was a little thrown off with how often they would mention her cyborg things. So she would be like, my retina scans and my overheating and my oil slick, whatever, whatever the fuck. I even wrote it on the first few pages. I was like, we get it, bitch. You're a cyborg. You don't have to keep mentioning it. Because I feel like that's how it was for the first 2 chapters. And then it kind of died down. But everything, she was like, okay, I was looking up and Googling while I was talking to Eco. And I'm like, okay, bitch. Okay. You have Wi-Fi installed to your head. I get it. So that was one of my dislikes.
If that was my life, I wouldn't shut up about it either.
I kind of just wish that her being a cyborg didn't mean that she had like internet stuff. I just wish that it meant that she had cyborg parts. Like, I didn't like that she was closer to android, even though she was only 36% cyborg. You know? I wish that it was just a part of her and not who she was. I don't know. It was just like a weird...
I don't know if I agree with
weird
that,
reason.
Pop off.
I don't know. Because if she was that much cyborg, why was it only 36%, huh? Because that felt like at least 73% to me. So,
yeah.
Make her more cyborg if that was the reason.
Oh, wait, I do have a dislike. It just hit me. Sorry.
Okay. Do you want to say yours first? Because mine is something with the end.
Oh. I don't know if it's the same thing.
Okay.
My thing is that I do like the long lost princess trope.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of felt like her being revealed to be Princess Celine was just a little bit predictable.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I wish that would have played out differently. So
what
when
would have been better?
When the reveal did happen, I was like, okay. I don't know, like maybe her doing something, that the princess would do. Obviously, like when she went away, she was really young, but like still like doing something and then people being like, or the doctor being like, oh, that's
like having an ability that only the princess would have.
Yeah, exactly. Like I kind of wish that like more hints like that would happen, because then when it was finally revealed, like, yes, I do think it's really cute that Kai has been searching for her this whole time and she's just been like right in front of him. Like I like that. Yeah. But I just wish that the reveal would have been a little bit better.
Okay. That actually wasn't what bothered me, but I agree with you now that you bring it up, because it was just kind of revealed at the end. Yeah. I had one major dislike, which kind of threw me off. And honestly, I'm not going to say my rating yet, but because of this, it did lower my rating. That whole ball like drama that was going on, like the back and forth, the reveals and stuff, I fucking hated it. I hated it really? So much, because I hated that they're having this whole back and forth and there's like people like, some guy doing the Macarena. It's like, so do we stop dancing? Like it feels like kind of inappropriate, but I do like bump and grind, and that's what they're currently playing. Do I dance? Yeah, do I bump and grind, or do I just watch respectfully?
Bump and grind. You just ignore it. Keep
Go for it, Tim. Can you imagine like you're at the party and it's like fucking her foot's already off and Kai's like, oh my god, she's a cyborg. And you're like, is this the wrong time to ask where the bathroom's at? Like, what do I fucking do? You know? It felt so, I fucking hate it when books do that. When it's like you have an entire audience of nobodies watching you, because it's
really that's so anime though. But that's so anime.
That's dude.
You know what?
My favorite anime. My favorite anime is One Piece, and One Piece does that all the fucking time, and I hate it because it feels like sometimes they're just there for the reaction, you know? So it would be like, this was said, and you hear a scream in the background. It's like, I don't fucking care what you think, Paul. Like, you're not even part of this story. Oh God, it's like one of my icks. It's one of my anime icks, and it's a book ick too. I fucking hate it.
I love that.
Yeah. No, I can't.
I just love an audience when so much drama is unfolding. It's a Cinderella retelling. Of course it's cliched. I just want to say that I love when that happens because I love an audience when all of this drama is unfolding. Like,
but I would appreciate it more if the audience was the people we actually met in the story.
No, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that.
No, I don't care for any of that shit. Like, it would have been more dramatic to me if it had happened in the garden. And
everyone's dead.
and more novella moments, like, you know, it's him and her, and she reveals she's a cyborg, and then fucking the queen comes and like, you know what else, bitch? She's also a lunar. And then the doctor, she's also queen, you know, like, so the princess.
That would have been sick.
I would have preferred that instead of hearing just like the shrieks of people in the background, because like while they were having their long talks, what was everyone else fucking doing? Dancing or watching? Or both?
They were dancing.
You know, I would have fucking ran to the snack table, like, grab the Tupperware, grab what you can. No one's watching.
There's no Tupperware.
Oh my God. No, I hated it. Oh God. I just
think that's so
I tried my best to get through it. That's so funny that you brought up that it's an anime thing, because that's the biggest thing I hate about One Piece.
It's literally an anime thing. I love that shit.
No, it's bad.
I guess now we can go through overall thoughts, right?
Yeah, you want to go first?
Sure. So my overall thoughts of Cinder was that I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I don't know if you remember, but you were the one who brought up this book a very, very long time ago. Before I read Heartless by Marissa Meyer, you were like, oh, it just sounds so cool, you know, because she's the cyborg. And, you know, I'm not really into robots. So I was like, I don't know. It didn't really appeal to me. And I feel like I was surprised to see like how much I enjoyed the reading experience. I definitely really loved like the relationship between Kai and Cinder. I don't love that whole like reveal of her being the princess. I mean, it would have been fine if it was just done differently, like I said before. But again, I don't really love Cinderella retellings. Nobody hate me for that, please. I just gotta speak my truth, you know.
Go ahead and drag Hilary Duff. It's fine. It's fine.
Selena Gomez. Okay. Anyway, so I would say that I am excited to read the next book. I'm just excited to get through like what else is being offered in this series. But I think
the Brave one. Frozen, right. I think that's one of them. I don't know. It's a lot.
I have no idea. I would rate this book a 4 out of 5.
Wow. What did I say you were going to give it? A 5 out of 5. Dude, I'm a little shocked, but yeah. Okay. I forgot I was the one who recommended this.
Yeah, you recommended this one. It wasn't me. Okay. I know I love Marissa Meyer's Heartless, but.
Dude, I love this book. I love this book so much. I will be honest with you, when I started and it was doing all that like robot lingo, I was like, if this is going to be the whole book, I'm going to scream. Because it was like.
But you're into like monster romances. Is this monster romance? I don't know what this
No,
is.
she's not a monster. She's human. That's the point of the book.
Here we go. We got to start over.
Start the episode over. I'm deleting this one.
Already deleted.
No, but
wait, what is this then? Is this just paranormal romance?
I don't know. It's not paranormal.
Robot
she's
love?
Human.
Oh my god! But she's not 100%.
Is it sci-fi?
I don't know. You know what? It doesn't matter. Keep going.
Okay, but anyway, I really, really liked this book. I liked it more than I thought I would. I didn't think I'd finish it all in a day. But that being said, I fucking hate when all the characters are fucking watching. It felt really bad. It felt really, really bad. I don't want to say this because I really like the book, but I'm gonna say it. It just felt like straight out of a fan fiction with that ending. So,
oh my! How dare you say that when you admitted that happens in anime? You take that back,
dude. It's dude, that's the reason I stopped watching anime for such a long time. Though.
Well, because it just happens so often, huh?
Yeah, it does.
People are just always spectating. In Sailor Moon, that's all that happens. They're just spectating the whole time, and I fucking love that. Okay? What does that mean?
Because she also wrote Sailor Moon fan fiction, so she took inspiration.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah. Well, I see the vision. Anyway.
But that being said, it doesn't take away from me really enjoying this. I can see myself just like this feels very Shadow and Bone to me, where like after we finished reading the first one, I'm probably going to binge read the other 5.
No, you can't. We have like
dude, I know. I have to be like the adult about this and like
she won't be.
Read responsibly.
Whatever we talk about next, I'm going to ask you. Did you
how far I am?
Did you continue the Cinder or the Lunar Chronicles? And you're going to be like, yeah,
I've read it 3 times. I'll see where I'm at. Dude, it's funny because like I'm trying to finish a book today so that we can hopefully film it later today. And it'd be funny if I like get back to you and I'm like, I'm done. I finished.
Stop. I kind of hate because you and I are both mood readers, but because of our podcast, we're more of like TBR readers. Like we have to be. Like
I know, dude.
We can't both be mood readers.
Oh, it sucks because I look at the books I want to read and I'm like, I can't read you unless we talk about you on the podcast or I have a week off, but that's very rare.
That's rare.
Oh, my gosh, dude. The summer's going to feel amazing. We should like go away somewhere. Airbnb somewhere.
Yes, and just fucking take a big ass pile of books. We could do our 24-hour readathon. Let's be real, it'll be like 12. There's no way I'm gonna stay up for 24 hours just reading.
No, we're not. We're gonna sit down, and both you and I are gonna be like, "Wait, you want pizza or something?" And then that's gonna be the end of it. That's gonna be 30 minutes in.
I can't wait. It's gonna be so fun.
But I like the romance in this book a lot. I like it when it's not the main point of like the characters. You know what I mean? Like they can both survive without being in each other's lives, which I appreciate that she didn't stay behind for him. She went and did what she needed to do. So that being said, I would have given this a 5 out of 5, but that fucking...
Stop. I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there. I know you.
I'm still gonna give it a 5
right now. You are gonna give this a 5. No. Wait. Right now, you're gonna say I'm gonna give it a 4.5, 4.75, whatever. And then in a week from now, I'm gonna be like talking to you, and you're only gonna be talking about Cinder. That's it. You won't talk about anything else.
First of all, it's kind of rude for you to read me like this while I'm in my own home, okay? On a Sunday.
It's because I know you so well.
Yeah, you do. Stop it.
Stop knowing me so well.
Because I was going to say a 4 or a 4.5. Don't read into that. I was going to say that. I was going to say a 4, but I feel like overall, when I finish reading the entire series, as a whole, I'm probably going to give this series a high rating. I'm not going to say anything now, though, because I haven't read the other books. I'm going to say a 4.5.
Okay. That's fair.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you for this experience.
No. No. That's it.
That's it. End the episode.
We just cut it off like that. The music comes in. Thank you so much for everyone who's listening to us in podcast form, whether that be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or anywhere you get your podcasts on. If you want to leave a rating of 5 stars, do it right now because it literally takes like 2 seconds. So if you want to just click on our name, it'll take you to the page. 5-star that shit. because it does make a really big difference. It makes us get recommended to people more often, and I feel like it really has made a big difference. So if you can do that right now, that would be great. If you want to leave a review too, that would also be amazing. What would they have to do if they want to support us like more? Like if that's not enough?
If you just love our conversations so much and you just want to show a little bit more support for us, then we did make a Patreon. And through our Patreon, we definitely have like a lot of goals for like our community. We really, really wish that in the future we can even have like a book club, and we would love for our listeners to have more of a say in what we talk about. So the Patreon would definitely be the area where you could do that and could reach us and let us know what you would love for us to talk about. And you can find us on patreon.com/bookfix.
Thank you. And if you are watching us on YouTube, if you can please like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We post every Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know if I said this already, but let me say it now. If you can't support us on Patreon and you just want other people to know about us, if you please could tell your friends, family, loved ones about us, because the best type of exposure is through word of mouth. So at the end of our episodes, Yahaira rolls a digital dice, and if it lands on an even number, we read a positive review of the book. But if it lands on an odd number, we read a negative review of the book. We don't connect our thoughts to these reviews. It's just up in the air. We have no feelings towards it. So why don't you go ahead and roll the dice and I'll pull up a review.
All right, we got a 1.
That is an odd number, so I'm going to read a negative review of the book. So this one is by Karima, who gave it a 1 star and wrote, "Unless they are dark and bloody, fairy tales aren't really my thing. And Cinder here is a retelling of Cinderella, the most boring and stupid fairy tale of them all. It wouldn't be a problem, really, if the story was at least intriguing and exciting, but unfortunately it was not. Even before reading the book, I was skeptical, but the intriguing new premise of a cyborg strong mechanic female protagonist living in a threatening, devastating world hooked me in, and I was open to the possibility of being surprised. But at the end of the book, I was feeling completely dissatisfied with the book. It just didn't deliver on its promise, and I find that deeply disappointing. I can ignore the tedious and boring pacing and how the story was so slow that at times I was literally in danger of falling asleep. I can certainly forgive that because this is the first book in a series of 4 books. I can also forgive all the unfulfilled promises, the potential of a better, more exciting story never met, and all the elements that were never explored. What I can't forgive is being stuck inside the mind of the boring and undeveloped protagonist. It was extreme torture. I just couldn't connect to Cinder, and I couldn't even care what could or could not happen to her. I mean, Cinder is a story of a girl who is part human, part machine, never really fitting in, treated like an outcast, and manipulated all her life. It could have been really exciting to delve more into her as a person and how she really sees herself despite the narrow vision of people around her. But I don't think we get that at all. She's your typical YA female protagonist at first glance. And at first glance, there is nothing that special about her, but she ends up being the one to save the world or something like that. And for the world on the brink of war, riddled by a plague that's killing people with no hope for a cure, they sure have all their priorities screwed up. But what can I say? A fantasy, a dystopia, or a science fiction book needs first and foremost a good and clear, engaging world building. This book is lacking on this front. The story takes place in a dystopian city, but I don't know that much about it to be sure. Maybe I didn't pay attention, or maybe the author didn't care to create a unique dystopian world capable of holding my attention. In the end, this was a miss for me. Who knows? Maybe I'll give the second book a chance. Maybe I won't. Only time will tell.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye. Dude, I know we normally don't talk about the reviews. But can I say so?
We normally don't, but what do you want to say?
That was another one of my dislikes, the whole world building thing.
You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, wait. Where am I?
What do you mean?
Where am I, girl? Like, in this world, where am I?
Dude, I totally forgot to mention that, and that was something that I had written down, that I understood that they had like that whole lunar thing, they had their world and everything, but you really don't know what's going on. Like exactly how they said, it's like, how is this a fucking dystopia?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I'm surprised that I didn't realize that also, because I feel like world building is one of the first things that I notice in a book, but I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a retelling, and with retellings you could just picture it a little bit better. Yeah, just kind of assume. But no, I definitely agree.
Well, the saying
Wasn't really developed that well.
The saying, assumptions make an ass of you and me.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself, bitch. Sorry. And then we just end the episode there.
I'm just kidding. I love you.
I love you too. I'm sorry we had this fight.
Not even a fight, please. This is nothing.
Oh my